Hello, Steve89. Well, continuing on with my Super 7 Filmation accurate He-Man figures, comparing them to the originals. Now, one of the ones I really noticed the difference was back in the day was Hordak. And not because the design was really different, because the design is actually very similar. It was just the colour. The grey versus the bright blue was so different, and the white face compared to the like cream and grey. And it really bugged me. I know I remember getting that back in the day and seeing that was different. Also, the cannon hand, the fact that he didn't have a cannon hand, he just had some weird bat on his hand. And I have recreated the cape. The cape was originally plastic, and that's just some nylon. Nylon. But yeah, I just really wanted this one. Pretty much him and She-Ra are one of the most, because they were probably the most different, or the ones I really were aware of, because I guess I saw She-Ra last. It was like the last show I saw. I was more aware of the toys and the differences between the toys and the cartoon. So I'm really glad they did him. He looks amazing. And of course the cannon actually comes off. But in the originals, they did actually have Hurricane Hordak, who actually had the cannon arm. So I was really happy to get him because, you know, okay, he was still the wrong colour, but he had the cannon arm. And this cannon arm, you know, it's not really accurate. Basically, you just add this part onto the arm, so you can still see half of the arm, and it's not like the round, I think the original design was just like a bunch of coils in blue. So yeah. Next, She-Ra, because huge difference in She-Ra and the original, who I didn't have lined up to put in the video. Oh no, I thought she was going to stand. No, she's going to have to go on the back wall. Okay, so the original She-Ra, of course, the original She-Ra figures, they were basically like miniature fantasy Barbies. They had a lot of costuming, a lot of material. They didn't really do anything action orientated. The comics, the mini comics, they were basically just frolicking, and Catra was just causing problems. They didn't really deal with the Horde. It only got addressed in like the last two mini comics, and barely. We saw some Horde troopers in like the last comic. And the toys were kind of representative of that. They were really just sort of a fantasy Barbie line for girls who didn't really like He-Man that much, as opposed to the Filmation series really continued on the adventures, and they really dealt with the Horde and the rebellion and fascism and everything. It was really more interesting, and she's just not going to stand up. So they're both going to have to go on the back wall. Okay, so as you can see, huge difference, and all the dolls were like that. They're all very different from the ones in the cartoon, and there's no excuse for that. The original He-Man toys were made a long time before the Filmation series. The Filmation series and the dolls were made at the same time, but Mattel was a different area of Mattel, which was the girls department that was dealing with it. And they kind of took it over, and I think we would have had a much better doll series if they'd actually just let the He-Man men make the She-Ra toys. They probably wouldn't have had brushable hair, but I think they would have been better. And this one, I love it that we have the power sword with the jewel, and the shield with the jewel, and the gold paint is fairly good compared to the Origins She-Ra, which is basically just yellow, and the dress is accurate. The only thing, and the hair's decent too. Now the only things that aren't accurate is the cape isn't long enough, and she's much darker. The original She-Ra was quite pale, probably because she grew up in the Horde Fright Zone, which is just this big dark industrial polluted area, and she probably had never seen the sun until she went to live in the Enchanted Forest, or what was it, I forgot the name of the forest where they lived. Either way, I think once she got out in the sun, she kind of gained He-Man's tan, because she's the same colour as He-Man now, whereas in the original cartoon she was very white, and He-Man looked biracial actually, because they made him biracial in the reboot series, which, you know, still is like a separate universe. But yep. I still love the original She-Ra. I can't believe I lost her sword. I had a power sword for years. I don't know what happened to it. Don't know how I lost it. And I'm going to buy the Origins version with the brushable hair. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the She-Ra dolls and the differences between these and the originals and the cartoon.